Canyon Band. And back to
All right,
Tourmaline.
it is Tourmaline Desert. Match 2, round 2. Here we go. Back to you, Ben and Mike.
Back to Tourmaline.
It seems like a familiar pattern so far, right? We did Canyon, now we're on Tourmaline.
This seems to be
wonder if
Eon
we'll go back to
Synergy's
Canyon
favorite
next.
map.
Yeah.
They really seem to like Tourmaline Desert. And so now we get to kind of see Eon where they want to be.
Yeah. And thinking back to that last match, I think if you're EMP, you feel pretty good. I'm not sure you feel great about that. Those initial trades, it really felt like Eon was getting the advantage. It felt like the mislinks came around the corner too quickly. Both of them lost significant leg armor early on in those trades, were almost legged right off the bat. If they had been legged, that could have been a completely different matchup. If you're Eon, you've got to look at that and be like, we were really, really close, right? They had these guys hurt. They had the Huntsman hurt. They had both mislinks. They had them both legged at one point and still alive. So they got one down. They couldn't get the other down. But if you're Eon, you've got to look at that and be like, you know what? If we just play it a little tighter, if we get on our focus targets a little better, we might take that one.
Absolutely. And I mean, just looking at the stats for Imperial, this is something that they do better than anybody,
Absolutely.
which is keep their mechs alive.
Yeah.
And just like you said, if those mislinks died, that could have been totally different because that pressure from them and that just constant fire, you can't turn and shoot when you're open and those machine guns are hitting you. You're forced to just protect, and all you're doing is hemorrhaging armor. You can't return fire. I'm sure they weren't even that hot at that point. They were just trying to get around the corner.
Away. Yeah.
They were trying to get away. They were waiting for their teammates to show up. But Imperial, they know how to protect their mechs, as we just saw here and as we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I mean, Imperial played 8 matches in the semifinals. They killed a total of 60 mechs in those 8 matches. They lost 14. These guys just don't die. They know how to protect their mechs, like you said. They know how to rotate out those damaged mechs, right? You're on the forefront, you're taking that damage, you got your buddies backing you up. You start backing off, your buddies move up, and now the other team has to take the fire away. Either that or they're chasing after you right into the middle of a firing line. It's the perfect way to play it. They do it better than any other team we've seen, and the stats reflect that. Now I have to ask, I didn't quite catch it, but did Radek die in that match?
I
don't believe he did.
I don't think he did.
If Radek did not die in that match, and even if he did, it would have been the very first time since the start of the semifinals that Radek has died. He has played in all 8 games for Imperial, 9 now. I don't believe he died in that last one, which means he would have had at least 10 kills. He had 10 kills in the semifinals, 0 deaths in every game. The stats are incredible for EMP right now. It's hard to imagine, a challenger in this, but like I said, Eon made that very, very close. You get a couple shots, the big difference to me, those mislinks come around the corner and they didn't quite get the legs off. You get the legs off, that could be a big match.
Absolutely. Do we have to do that map ban again?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to do that map ban one more time because we had to switch up the teams again.
Yeah. We got so excited in that last match, I think we just got to throw it right back to Bombadil and get the map ban going again.
That's okay.
All right, it is time for the next map ban. Captains, are you ready? Good to go, good to go. We are green. Back to you, Mike.
Adjust your mic. Just it closer.
All right, it is Tourmaline Desert again, and back to you, Ben and Mike.
All right, sorry about that technical difficulty.
One of these days we'll get it right, I promise you.
But we are right back to Tourmaline Desert. No big surprise there, but we will everybody's getting readied up. They're getting into their mechs now, and then we will be right back into drop 2. But, one of the things that stuck out to me the most, Eon Synergy doing really well, right? They've seen Imperial do this mislinks push before. It should not have been a surprise to them. In fact, I want to say that when it happened last time, they were on the opposite sides, and it was on that same corner, the Kappa corner, where they rushed through and just started stomping whoever was there. And they were outnumbered when they did it at the time. It was like 3v4 or something.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure it was a surprise so much as just when they came around that corner, the focus fire, I don't know if maybe both missed links were available and they got confused on targets. That's the other thing to keep in mind, right? These drop callers are trying to call targets. You have your designator, you've got target alpha, target bravo, whatever you've got above your mech. But at the same time, a lot of drop callers will call the chassis. They'll say target alpha mislinks, right? That's the easier way to do it, because a lot of times it's easier to identify, the mech by its chassis rather than by its target designation. But when you have two mislinks come around the corner, it's hard because you say alpha mislinks. Well, now you got to check which mislinks is alpha. And in those moments when they pop around the corner, you really want to just wail away on one mech, and it felt like both mislinks got opened up in the legs, which is the right target, the right point to shoot, but it felt like both of them gotten opened up, when really maybe if you had just shot one and not shot the other at first, you might have been able to take a leg off right on that initial push, and then all of a sudden the whole dynamic changes. You can even back up away out of range from those guys, but if you leave those mislinks up, legged, they're charging in, and then all of a sudden they're in the middle of you.
And you
can't
twist
get away.
away from them. If you twist away from them, you're giving your back to their main body.
Yeah.
Bottom line, the focus didn't seem like it was quite there. If it was, if they all hit the same one, if they took him out right away, or even legged him far enough away that he was no longer a threat, that could have gone completely in the other direction. I mean, both teams had their support mechs coming in. I'm sure they were probably trading the entire time that they were trying to get in there. Ultimately, we saw Heimdallite come in and start getting some of the backcores, but Eon Synergy back on their heels, just trying to retreat, trying to get around the corner, trying to get away from Proton's hail of bullets coming at them, because he was left unchecked the whole time, and you don't leave Proton unchecked. If you leave him alone, it's going to spell
And the Dragon's
disaster
an
for you.
interesting mech choice, but with those triple UAC 2s, I mean, that thing can put a lot of bullets downrange really quickly.
Absolutely. But Eon Synergy getting into the map that I know they like, are they going to be able to put something up against the MP?
We'll just have to find out.
Let's do it. So drop 2, Imperial versus Eon Synergy. Imperial up 1-0 in their attempt to defend their world championship.
Now keep in mind, this is a best of 5, so we're going to have to see at least 3 wins by Imperial or by Eon Synergy in order for them to move on. The round has just begun.
Absolutely. And of course, this is not an elimination round, so if a team loses this, they will just be dropping down to play against Blackwatch in the losers bracket. Tourmaline Desert. Just like Canyon in that there's a lot of little bits of cover, but there's a lot more open field on this as well. But it's much longer distances to cover, especially if you want to play a little bit more of the cap game. Taking mechs out to cap, it can be a risk. It can be a huge risk because you're taking them out of the gameplay. So more often than not, we will continue to see just straight up teams wailing on each other here.
And that's not really a strategy we've seen either of these teams, two teams do with the focusing on cap games. They like to kill the other mechs.
All right, we are on the Eon Synergy side. Looks like they are putting up their Summoner and their ER Large Laser Hunchback 2C, trading into Alpha Lance to Alpha Lance, where they've got Heimdallite in that Summoner doing a little bit of a fadeaway with the PPCs and sending Twinkie Overlord and the Mad 2C up high.
Once again, I'm going to take a peek in the cockpit of Proton, see what he's doing with this Dragon, and he's again, I like the style of twisting the mech away, but he's exposing that arm. That arm carries all of his weaponry. He's just got to be careful
Got somebody
with this.
in the open field, but the Eon Synergy mechs up in the Spire are responding. It seems this is very similar to what we saw from Blackwatch, maybe a little bit less of an aggressive move over Theta, but Imperial happy to give up Theta and just start trading in.
So Proton has lost his shield arm, so it's not very effective, not a lot of armor on that arm. The one thing it does do in this sort of engagement is it smokes, and that smoke can give away your position at long ranges, so he's got to be careful about that.
Lizzie opting to step out into the open and trade across. There's a lot of firing lanes going on at the same time. Caps are 2-2 on both sides, a slight ticket lead for Eon Synergy, but looks like we've got a continued shift off to the right side, but there are mechs over there that they're going to be running into. These guys are kind of cornered now, and they have to be pretty careful. Lizzie taking a big hit, down to 79%. Let's see the status of his mech. Looks like some of that translated into his back, but he's got pretty weak armor on both of his shoulders.
And that's Bowser up there in the Warhawk. Basically has Overwatch on that Echo 6 corner. It's going to be tough for them to come around that side, but there are some approaches kind of on the inside that they can get if they head towards the Delta 6 line. But no, here's a Light Mag Wolfhound coming out in the open. Bowser's going to take a shot, and he gets one of the 2 hits.
Hubert's in pretty bad shape here, 55%. It can be deceptive, though, with these hunchbacks. He's now opened up on one of his torsos, down to 49%. Opted to stand and fight, but he's one of the most hurt mechs on Eon Synergy, and he's opting to duck down.
Eon's being a little more aggressive with their assaults now around the Echo 6 corner. They've got 2 mechs moving up. They've pushed Bowser back off that top Overwatch position, so they're trying to take advantage of that. Although it looks like they're going to change their strategy now.
EMP has moved off of Epsilon and are now in a serious flanking position here, and they are putting some good damage in on the assaults.
And you know what? They have 2 Arctic Cheetahs this time, no mislinks, and they're running 1 ER large laser on these Arctic Cheetahs, so they're getting that little harassing damage in the backfield at long range there.
For Hubert down in the pit, and I think he's about to get some Arctic Cheetah love here. They're going to go in and they want to finish him off. They want to get this mech off the field. Aurora is on the hunt. Not sure if he knows he's there, actually. Hubert staying low, staying hidden, and he's kind of a little bit of a wild card. Well, the Cheetahs move in on Zelaglock in that summoner. They do have machine guns on those, and they are starting to wail on them.
And that is not good.
Hubert stepping up, and he's getting some shots in. He's helping out against Aurora, but trying to protect himself at the same time. Zelaglock continues to get wailed on. They're going legs on Zell. Looks like his left leg is about to fall, but he's still got some juice in the right. Actually, that one just stripped its armor as well. He might be going down any second now. They need to get more fire on these Cheetahs if he goes down.
Them up. They're going to go after that Night Gear
There's
Lizzie
a fight
up top.
on the other side. Zealot takes down Hardock in that Wolfhound. They got up in the face. It was 2 Wolfhounds against 3 larger mechs, and Dot Red is pinned and legged, and he's getting hit hard from the opposite side, so he's trying to do whatever he can. Radek takes down Chico. Bowser picks off Colonel O'Neill in that hunchback, and it is starting to snowball. They have several hurt mechs on Imperial. Aurora does get taken down, but they are doing what they do best and rotating him out.
Forcing Lizzie right off the side of that pillar there.
Lizzie able to take down Proton. Radek's still up in that spire, up high. Everybody's spread everywhere. Looks like they're going in on Lizzie now. Twinkie's still pretty fresh.
Nova gets legged, and Nova might go down here, actually.
And he gets shot in the back by Heimdallite, taken down by that summoner. 2 mechs remain. One of them, the extremely hurt Hubert, who expertly hid and allowed those Cheetahs to get past him so he can get some back shots in. And then
Legolas,
Nova,
on the other hand, is
Legolas
wide open in the back.
Nova shooting across. He's going to try and burn Hubert down, but Legolas stepping up across his beam, trying to get him taken down, putting some pressure on Nova. Twinkie does finish off Hubert. Last one remaining, 48% Legolas. Still has a little bit of fight left in him.
And Nova's once again protecting that leg really well.
Overheat by Nova.
And he's got the leg protected.
But he still has it protected. He can't get past the dead leg. He takes out the shoulder, but it's not enough. He does finally get him, but he's down to 32%. One-shot CT. Radek comes up, takes him down. 8-3 decision in favor of Imperial. There was a lot of stuff happening all at the same time.
There was a lot going on there. That was a bunch of little engagements throughout that whole fight there.
The damage from Imperial just across the board. We got 3 pilots over 500. Another one biting at it. 492 for Nova. 450 for Bowser. Just everybody on Imperial doing a significant amount of damage. And Eon, while they did have some good performers, just had a couple, like Colonel O'Neill, just not able to contribute. With
honestly, I felt like
damage.
that match was a little less close than the previous ones, but once again, Radek just piling up the numbers. The guy hasn't died yet.
Absolutely. He's able to
another 2 kills. He's at least 16. I didn't catch how many he had the previous match. Or, I'm sorry, at least 12. I didn't catch how many he had the previous match. But the guy hasn't died. He's just patting his KDR right here in the World Championships.
Of course. But once again, as we saw, Imperial keeping mechs alive. They did lose a couple more this time. but they did a really good job rotating out the mechs that were in dire straits and taking advantage of just mechs getting up in their face and just taking care of business. And
I
the
mean,
cheetah movement over the summoner.
Yeah.
They were just able to wail on him unopposed. He was there all alone. They had Hubert hitting him a little bit as he bravely came back out of the pit. Wide open, of course, so one shot and he would be dead.
Yeah.
But they were doing what they could, but those cheetahs were able to just, it was almost like a vacation to go in there and kill that summoner. Well, there was fights happening elsewhere.
And that whole time you've got Nova just putting on a clinic and how to protect your legs as a light mech with that dead leg. Even overheating and unable to get the kill because of his positioning was so perfect. Even when he overheated, he was still protecting his dead leg. I mean, the EMP right now, they are playing very, very well.
Absolutely. So I say we go back to Darren. Let's do the map ban so we know where our third drop is going to be.